Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive, bringing you guys week 3 of the GBA. The New York Metapods are taking on the Borussia Donphan and coach Scizor. Lars here, who we did play 3 times last season. We were able to get the better of him the 3 times. We won 2 out of the 3, and especially including the playoff matchup, which is very intense. So we've got a couple similar Pokemon this time. We both have a couple similar Pokemon on our team, so it should be pretty interesting to see. It's essentially like our 4th rematch here, and it gets a little funky when that happens. So either way, show your love on that like button down below. Don't forget to check out the description for the team builder, and feel free to check out Lars's channel. Excellent guy. I love his commentary. He's really cool battler. He knows his stuff. He was a playoff contender last season. And our question of the day today is kind of revolving around Victini. Obviously, Pokemon's doing their distributions for the mythical Pokemon throughout the year with like Manaphy and Victini and things like that, Celebi, etc. Which one is your favorite? Mine is actually Victini, as you probably would guess after franchising it this season. I've absolutely loved using Victini over the last couple seasons of the GBA, and we had a good week with it last week, picking up 3 kills, so hopefully we can kind of mimic that this week and hopefully come up with a nice W. So leave a comment letting me know that. Show your love on that like button down below, and I'm going to connect here with Lars and hopefully pick up our first win of the season. Alright guys, here we are connected, and we're going to find out what Lars is going to bring. I feel really confident that he's bringing that Landorus and the Scizor and the Crawdon, potentially the Druddigon as well. It's a matter of the last 2, and he does bring a lot of similar things. He does bring wait, he didn't bring the Crawdon. Wow, that's actually a big deal. Does bring the Skuntank, does bring the Shaymin, brings the Alakazam, so I pretty much nailed a lot of his team, but he did not bring the Crawdon, which is huge. So that actually makes my Altaria a little bit less important, but let's double check I got everything here. Looks like I did. So he does not bring the Crawdon, brings the Alakazam, and that is nice for me. I'm gonna be honest. I'm really glad that that's the case. I expected the Skuntank. I expected some of the other stuff. The Druddigon is obviously there to check Victini. So let's think about our lead opportunities here. From his end, he could potentially lead Alakazam. He could lead Scizor. He might think I'm gonna lead Galvantula. So if I lead Galvantula, what is his best lead to take on that? Potentially the Druddigon. I mean, Skuntank, I guess, could be a lead. I mean, Shaymin could be a lead too. He's got a lot of different lead options, so it's kind of tough for us to predict a lead here. I really want to lead Victini because I feel like I could hit something really hard on that first turn. But Victini also shreds a lot of his team, so it might be a little risky to lead Victini. I think Rotom is a decent lead too, unless he leads with Shaymin, but he probably wouldn't lead Shaymin expecting me to lead with Galvantula, so I think Rotom is a decent lead. If he brings the Alakazam, though, that could be problematic. I kind of like the idea of leading with Altaria. We actually are going to disconnect anyway, so it's not going to matter. But we'll get reconnected here in a second, and hopefully we can figure out what our lead is. I have an extra moment here to figure that out. Alright guys, so we got reconnected here. I guess what happened was Lars accidentally picked his Pokemon, but he hit enter and he only had 5 Pokemon, so he didn't want us to like get into it and have to reset, so he just turned off his internet and started over, but it's all good. I did think a little bit about what I was going to lead with here, and I still don't know. I still haven't figured it out. I think Rotom is a good lead. Rotom actually matches up pretty well against a lot of his team, aside from potentially the Shaymin, so I think that's a good lead, because I don't think he's going to lead Shaymin, considering the fact that Galvantula seems to be my best lead in a lot of situations, so I'm going to lead with Rotom here, because I could get a burn off on something. He doesn't really have a Cleric on his team from what I could tell, so a burn could be very useful. The only thing that really gets messed up with is if he leads Alakazam or Shaymin, but either way, I think if he leads Alakazam Shaymin, I could switch into Chansey. But anything else, Rotom manages to handle pretty well. So I feel like now that Crawdon's not there, that's huge for us. That's actually huge for us. It removes some of his priority. His only hazard setter is that, I guess, his Landorus and his Druddigon. So keep an eye out for that. But we'll see what he's going to lead with. I am going to lead with my Rotom here, as I think it could give me some momentum. If he leads with Landorus, I could Hydro Pump. If he leads with Shaymin, I could just hard switch into Chansey. If he leads with Alakazam, I could switch into Chansey, predicting the Energy Ball. So we'll see what he's going to do. But I'm going to lead with Rotom here and see what his decision is. He is going to send out his Sonic. So he sends out his Shaymin. Very surprised to see the Shaymin right off the bat, because I could have led with Galvantula, but that's fine. I'm going to make the switch here. Definitely in my best interest to make the switch. His play is to go for a Grass-type move here. I'm going to just go into Chansey. If he wants to predict that, that's fine. I'm just going to go into Chansey, because Chansey is my default switch into Shaymin. And I can scout out what kind of Shaymin he's going to be, whether he's a Life Orb set or whether he's a substitute Leech Seed set, which is very likely. So he is likely to be that substitute Leech Seed set, as we see that. So we see the Leech Seed right there, and we see him getting some health back and stuff like that. So I'm not too surprised to see the substitute or the Leech Seed set, and I think we're going to see a substitute right here. So because of that, I'm going to make a quick switch out, and we're going to go right into our Victini right off the bat here. If he predicts that, then good plays on his part, but I anticipate a substitute right now. And this will give me an opportunity to go for a Blue Flare, or simply just U-turn out. If he doesn't go for the substitute, that's fine as well. So he might have predicted that. I could have Could have Volt Switched. That would have been the better play. But now we know he's a Leech Seed set, which means he's not going to be 4 attacks. So if he has HP Fire on there, which he very well might, that could limit his options. He might not have the proper coverage for either Altaria or Victini, one of the two. But I'm going to go into Victini here and see what happens. A Victini should... oh, he's going to actually just switch out. So he's going to predict our switch here and go into what? He's going to go into Giraffe, which is his Scizor. So that's a phenomenal opportunity for us because we went right into our Victini here. So I don't know if he was hoping to set up right away on our Chansey or what, but now I have Victini in here, and I am not thinking I should overpredict here because if he goes into Druddigon and he's like bulky, my Dazzling Gleam is going to do a lot to him if he's physically defensive. I don't want to predict the Druddigon. I want to go for the Blue Flare. I don't want to go for the Dazzling Gleam. I feel like that's too risky at this point in the match, so I'm going to go for the Blue Flare. Play it safe early game. His only switch into this Blue Flare is that Druddigon, so I'm just going to play it safe. He is not Scarfed. He would have stayed in if he was, or he's scouting to see if I'm Scarfed. And he goes into Spiky Mikey, so he's going to go right into that Druddigon, so I could have predicted that, but I want to see if he's special or not, if he's specially bulky or not. Let's see here. That does about 30%. And we score the burn. That is huge, huge, huge. There's a 20% burn chance, of course, by going for that move. So that is really, really nice. And based on that damage, I actually think we could potentially knock him out with the Dazzling Gleam. So I'm going to go for that Dazzling Gleam here and try to knock him out. Now that he's burned, he's a lot less of a threat to us because I can, his Pursuit and Sucker Punch is going to do a lot to us. If he wants to get up his Stealth Rocks, I'm less concerned about that because I could always defog those away with Flygon later. But grabbing that 20% burn chance is huge there, because we're able to guarantee the Dazzling Gleam KO here after burn damage. It might just knock him out straight up, but he also may switch here predicting, but he doesn't know if I'm Scarfed or not. He doesn't know what set I am. I didn't want to... See, it's funny. I didn't want to predict the Druddigon and go for Dazzling Gleam because I felt like he was going to think that that was the obvious play, but that's okay. Victini has had a history so far against this Druddigon of getting some pretty key statuses, getting a Bolt Strike Paralysis last season in the playoffs, and now getting this. But he's got to be very weary of me going for a substitute here. So that's also very scary because sub Victini kind of destroys him at this point. If I went for a substitute right now and he is not able to break my sub, he is in a lot of trouble. But Dazzling Gleam is our play. I'm hoping this is going to edge out just enough to knock him out. It's going to be really close. And it does just straight up knock him out, so that is huge. So we get rid of one of his hugest threats right off the bat, his Druddigon, which is his primary switch into our Victini. So Victini kills Druddigon with Dazzling Gleam. And he might have thought that he was going to live that based on Glaciate, but we were able to knock out the Druddigon right away. So here comes Drumpf, which is his Skuntank. And I'm fully expecting this thing to go for either a Pursuit here or potentially... let's see here, Skuntank. Would he go for a Pursuit or would he go for a Sucker Punch? That's the question. Pursuit does a decent amount. Sucker Punch does a decent amount. Blue Flare actually has a chance to do a tremendous amount. I could also U-turn as an option as well. This is a tough decision. It's a very tough decision. If he's fully offensive, his Sucker Punch is going to do a lot. I don't want to take a Pursuit either. He might be weary of a substitute though, so he might not go for that. I'm going to go for the Blue Flare. I'm going to attack what's in front of me. I think we can handle Scizor later with the other Pokemon on our team. The problem is if he Pursuits here, we're going to be in a tough spot with our Victini. I'm in a tough spot. I want to go into Voltergeist, but I think he's going to Pursuit. And if he Pursuits, then we lose Victini. Well, if he Pursuits, he's going to do about 80% to us if he's max attack. 66 to 80%. I'm just going to go for the, I think I just go for the U-turn. What do I think he's going to do? This is a very, very big move in this match. Victini has a lot of usefulness. He has no switch-ins. I'm going to go for the U-turn here. He is, what did he go for? Did he pursue me? I don't know. We're going to get out of there, though. He did go for Pursuit, so I mean, it wasn't going to matter. He was going to do a tremendous amount to us anyway. But I got out of there and got a little chip damage off on him. So I have an opportunity to do a couple things here. The first of those things is actually to go into our Nimbus. And he might have some speed investment, so maybe Voltergeist is a better play. Actually, Voltergeist is a great play because I could burn anything on his team. He could go into Shaymin, though. I think I'm going to go into Voltergeist and go for a Volt Switch here. I really lose nothing by doing this. He's not going to want to Poison Jab me. He's Black Sludge, so that's good to know. And I saw the Pursuit. And we saw Black Sludge. I'm just simply going to go for a Volt Switch here. Try to get some initiative. I think Shaymin's coming in. We're going to get some Volt turning going on here. If I can get that Shaymin to come in, then Victini comes in and gets to go for a nice little blue flare again. So we'll see what he's going to go into. He's going to go to Mr. Man. So he goes into his Landorus. This thing could potentially be rocking a Smackdown set, but I feel like I could stay in here and just go for a Hydro Pump. So I'm going to go for that. He might predict it, but I'm going to just make the safe play. He's going to switch and back into Shaymin. So he's going to make some pretty good plays there. Go into his Shaymin now, predicting the Hydro Pump. So good plays on his part. He was able to kind of predict me a good amount there. But I'm going to get this Hydro Pump off. It's going to do very, very little damage. And he does show his leftovers, so he's not a fully offensive set. He's a leftover Shaymin. Okay, so he made some good predictions there. I think my play here is to go into Chansey. It really is. I think he could predict it. Actually, you know what? Let's go into Nimbus. Let's go into Nimbus, because I could set up a Cotton Guard, and it's a safe switch. It does resist the grass move. We actually 4 times resist grass. So we'll see what he's going to do here. But I think Nimbus is a safe play, because if he Leech Seeds, it's not a big deal. Let's go into our Nimbus, though. He's going to go for Seed Flare, so we do 4 times resist. So this is probably going to do very little. I don't know if he'll have the Dazzling Gleam or not, but this is an opportunity for me to set up a Cotton Guard, Mega Evolve and set up a Cotton Guard. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for that, and I'm going to go straight away for the Cotton Guard and see what he's going to do here. I'm going to reveal my set early, but this is an opportunity to do it because he might switch right into Scizor, and if I get the Cotton Guard up, then I can take hits from the Scizor all day. It also allows me to take Poison Jabs from the Skuntank, which I'm presuming to be physically offensive more than specially offensive, although he could be carrying Flamethrower. And considering the Landorus, I'm thinking he's going to be physically offensive. I should be able to take better hits from that as well. So I really like the Cotton Guard play here. He could go for a Leech Seed, but he is going to stay in here, so that's very interesting. He might just go for a Leech Seed. He might just go for that Leech Seed here. But I'm going to get my Cotton Guard up. He might have Dazzling Gleam, so I'm curious to see that. He's going to go for that Leech Seed, so that's fine. I'm not too surprised to see that. He is obviously faster than us. But now, with that Leech Seed, that's going to make things a little tougher for us to beat him down. Because he is like a Leech Seed variant here. But Fire Blast is a 2-hit KO. Maybe not after Leech Seed, but it's going to do a good amount. I could Hyper Voice as well. I think I'm going to Hyper Voice. In this turn. I'm going to Hyper Voice. I don't think he has the Dazzling Gleam. I think he'd have went for it. So, let's go for the Hyper Voice. Let's see what he's going to do. I mean, I have Fire Blast, but I don't think that's going to be the right play right now. It's going to be close. We could definitely beat this thing one-on-one, though, because I have Roost. So we'll just have to make the right predictions here. He's going to go for the Earth Power, so that will hit us, but it's probably not going to do too much. We have a good amount of Special Bulk. You can see it's really going to do very little. And Hyper Voice will come off here, and this is going to do about 40%, I'm thinking. And it does about 30, so it's going to be a very tough battle for us to beat this thing down because of how bulky he is. But we do have the Roost, so this is a tough battle for us. This is a winning battle, but a tough one. I'm going to go for the Roost on this turn, though, because, I mean, this Leech Seed is really going to wear us down, but I'm going to go for the Roost for safety reasons. And we saw Earth Power on his Shaymin, which means Chansey can wall it, so I have that opportunity. And if I can get Galvantula in too, that would be really good, because Galvantula can actually put in some work here too. But I'll go for the Roost, then I'll Fire Blast in the following turn, most likely. I don't know if I necessarily want to reveal it yet with that Scizor still hanging around, but we'll see. He may predict my Roost as well and make a switch here, but I'll be at a good amount of health regardless, so it shouldn't be too bad. He's going to just go for the Earth Power. Obviously, we have the risk of special defense drops, which we don't want to have happen, but that's okay. We're going to get this Roost off. That's going to put us at a decent amount of health. I think what I'm going to do now is actually make a switch into Flygon, because this is a losing battle for me. And I can go into Flygon, and I can go for a U-turn now and do some good damage to him. Because if he goes for Earth Power, I'll Levitate over it. It's not going to be a big deal. I don't think he's going to Seed Flare here. It's really not going to do much. So I'm going to go into Flygon. I'm pretty sure we can take any hit from him. And if he goes for the Earth Power, I'll Levitate over it. I can just go for a U-turn. And I think that's going to be our best play here. Because I need to get away from being in front of the Shaymin with the Leech Seed on us. So Nimbus is at a good amount of health. It is Mega Evolve, so it can switch in later on something else. But let's see what he's going to do here. He is going to go for that Earth Power, which is fine by me. I do have the Levitate. This gives me an opportunity to simply go for a U-turn now and just get a good amount of damage off on this thing because he's likely to Seed Flare. This could give me an opportunity to go straight into my my Victini again and fire off a Blue Flare and really hurt this Shaymin or hurt something else on his team really badly. He doesn't have a switch into Blue Flare anymore, so even if it is that Skunk Tank, it's not going to take a Blue Flare very nicely. So we'll get this U-turn off, and we're going to do a good amount of damage to him. I'm expecting the Seed Flare here. I'm definitely expecting the Seed Flare. Pretty sure Victini can take it. Pretty sure Victini can take it from a Leech Seed set. It's a very risky play if I go into Victini here and he does not Seed Flare. 29% max. I'm at 53 out of 175. So 30%. So I should be able to take it. Should be able to take it from a timid max speed Shaymin here. I should be able to take it. Is that the play I want to make? I mean, Chansey's a safe bet too. Chansey's definitely a safe bet against this thing. This thing cannot touch Chansey in the slightest. But really, what am I going to do back to him? He hasn't shown Substitute yet. Let's make the safe play. Do I make the safe play or the aggressive play? I mean, the Seed Flare is very likely here. I could go into Nimbus as well. Let's go to Nimbus. Nimbus is a very safe play. Let's go to Nimbus. It's a neutral play here, a neutral ground play. We could burn one of his Seed Flares, and he's just going to go for that Leech Seed, and he does connect it. So it's very clear what his strategy here is. It's just to fire off these Leech Seeds and really get as much health back as he can, and just kind of Leech Seed us and kind of give us some general annoying shenanigans here. I know I can live in Earth Power at this range. I think Roost is probably our safest play here, though. I mean, I could Fire Blast as well and get a big hit off. But I think Roost is the safest play. If he switches, he switches. I have some checks to some of his other offensive threats, so I'm just going to Roost here. He's going to switch this time. He might be going into his Skunk Tank. He's going to go into Giraffe, which is the Scizor. I do have a good switch into Scizor, which is, of course, our Rotom. So I can go into Rotom here. And actually, the thing is Nimbus at this health should be able to live a hit from Scizor. Because we do have a good amount of investment. Let me just take a look here. If he is a Choice Banded Scizor, Bullet Punch will knock us out. But if he's not Choice Banded, we live in Fire Blast Oko. So I'm going to go for the Fire Blast here. I'm going to take this chance. It's a very risky play. He's going to switch. So he wanted to scout for the Fire Blast. He's going to find out that we do have it. He's going to go into Sanic here, which is fine. I get to fire off a big Fire Blast on this thing. And it's going to do a lot of damage. He's going to scout for that Fire Blast, but it's fine. We're going to do a tremendous amount of damage to this thing. And we are actually almost going to knock him out. We get a crit there, a big crit. Almost knocks him out. That puts him in Hyper Voice range. That puts him in Hyper Voice range, which is very nice. Very, very nice. 100% my play here is Hyper Voice. There's no reason to risk the miss with Fire Blast. I just went for Fire Blast. He's not going to go into Scizor here. I'm going for the Hyper Voice. This is the safest play. This could be a good hit on the Skunk Tank or the Landorus. Either one is going to take a nice hit here. Or we knock out the Shaymin. And I don't think Shaymin has Synthesis at this point. So, I mean, if he makes the play into Scizor, just a great play there. But I don't anticipate that play. I just went for Fire Blast. I don't think he's going to go for Scizor here. Because Fire Blast is a no-risk play for me. I just click Fire Blast and Shaymin dies. So, really, he's in a tough spot. That crit was huge. I mean, if I didn't crit, Fire Blast would have... 2 Fire Blasts would have knocked him out. So, I mean, it gives me the opportunity to go for Hyper Voice here as opposed to going for Fire Blast. Which is nice. Alright, I gotta get rid of the Shaymin. Once the Shaymin's gone, there's a huge threat out of the way. And it frees up Victini a little bit. Takes a little pressure off of Victini once the Shaymin's gone. Actually, once the Shaymin's gone, then Victini's usefulness is strictly just to come in on Scizor, I guess. And hopefully hit something. But we'll see what he's going to do here. If he makes the switch into Scizor, man, that would be the play. But again, I have a switch from Scizor too. I just go straight into my... He's going to switch. Will he make the switch into Scizor? This would be a very, very bold play. He goes into Drumpf, which is... the Skunk Tank here, which will likely outspeed us, but I am going to get a big Hyper Voice here, and you can see it's going to do over half to him. Now, I do not want to take a Poison-type move here. My play is 1,000,000% to switch out. His Poison-type move is very likely. Flygon can come in here and just click Earthquake at this point, or just U-turn, either way. Or I go into Rotom, and Rotom's a great switch here. The thing I'm worried about is him him going for him going into his Shaymin again and trying to get some health back. Rotom was my switch into Skunk Tank last time, and I think I could take any hit from him. I could definitely take a Poison Jab, so I'm gonna go into Rotom here. It's the safest play. It is the safest play. Because I don't want to take a Poison Jab, and he could have speed EV'd this thing. This thing is naturally faster. He is going to just go for the Poison Jab here on the Skunk Tank, so not surprising. And it does a standard amount of damage, but it does also get that that poison there, so a bit unfortunate there. Not a big deal, though. My play here, 1,000,000%, is to go for the Will-O-Wisp, in my opinion. It is definitely to go for the Will-O-Wisp. Last time he predicted me to go for the Volt Switch. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp this time, because I could burn anything, even if it's that Alakazam. Once he Mega Evolves, he's going to take burn damage, so I'm just going to Will-O-Wisp here, because if I could cripple, even if the Shaymin obviously has Natural Cure, so that has the advantage of switching into a Will-O-Wisp and then being able to heal it off, but it'll be a little bit of chip damage on that thing to weaken it, because it's very low at this point. It's very, very low. And we're in a decent spot here. I mean, that poison was kind of annoying on Voltergeist. My default switch into Landorus is weakened now, but I could definitely fire off a Will-O-Wisp here and potentially cripple Skuntank, potentially cripple Scizor or Landorus if it comes in, if he's a physically offensive Landorus. So, last time I Volt Switched on the Skuntank, I believe, and he went into Shaymin. I don't want to do that again. But I think Will-O-Wisp is the proper play. Alright, let's see what he's going to do. Gotta hit this Will-O-Wisp. We gotta get a burn on something. Gotta get a burn on something. Man. Yeah, I definitely had to make that switch there. I could have went a Chansey on the Skuntank, but not worth it. We still have Galvantula in the back. No hazards on the field, which is really nice. Druddigon was probably his hazard setter, so Galvantula could be safe there. Could be very safe with that that Focus Sash, which is very, very good. That's incredibly useful for the Alakazam. It's incredibly useful for a lot of things. He's going to switch, and he's going to go into Sonic, so that is his Shaymin. The good thing is here, we are going to get this Will-O-Wisp off, and that is going to bring the Shaymin down to a very low amount of health. Very, very low amount of health. The leftover is going to come through here, obviously. The Seed Flare is very scary, obviously, but he could do a couple things. This is a switch in for Altaria, basically. I get to go in Altaria here. If he wants to predict that and go into Scizor, God plays. God tier plays. But I think his Leech Seed is the play here. He may also go for that Seed Flare. I have multiple Seed Flare switch-ins. Is he going to Leech Seed here? See, it's not worth losing Rotom at this point in the match, in my opinion. It's not. Flygon gives me a lot of momentum and can take the Seed Flare. It can take the Leech Seed. I could U-turn out. Flygon gives me a lot of momentum coming in here. He's not going to Earth Power. He would Seed Flare or Leech Seed is likely. Or he goes for the Synthesis. If he has it. We haven't seen his fourth move. His fourth move is probably HP Fire, though. To hit Pharaoh. I think I should go into Nimbus here. He hasn't shown me Synthesis yet, so I'm going to make the play into Nimbus. Might be a little predictable, but I think it's the proper play. It's the safest play right now against this Shaymin, which could potentially go for a Synthesis here, and I want to keep the offensive pressure on him. He's going to go for the Leech Seed. So we see the Leech Seed again. This thing is just consistently Leech Seeding us. He's really trying to get his health back, but now we're in a situation again, similar situation where I can Hyper Voice. Or I could Fire Blast, either or. I really lose nothing by going for either. Obviously, the Fire Blast is a little scarier because it gives the Skuntank a switch in. But I could also Roost, too, for longevity purposes. If I Cotton Guard and then I Roost, or if I Roost and then I Cotton Guard, I think Fire Blast is the safest play. Roost is a good play, too, though. He definitely does. I'm going to go for the Roost. He definitely doesn't have Synthesis at this point. He would have shown it. He would have gone for it. He would have went for it that turn. There's no... I guess he wouldn't run Leech Seed and Synthesis at the same time. He's going to Earth Power, so we go for Roost, which is the proper play. And we are going to get our health back here. And if I'm able to get a Cotton Guard up, that is going to be very, very nice. If I can get rid of this Shaymin with a Cotton Guard up, that is going to be very, very good. Because that allows us to take the hits from the Skuntank and the Scizor and put in some work. So I'm going to go for that Cotton Guard this turn to ensure that we can live the Bullet Punch now. And that burn is going to keep him in the range that we can kill him with a Hyper Voice or a Fire Blast. So my play here is to Cotton Guard. And I'm hoping he switches. I kind of want him to switch on this Cotton Guard so I can get... He's just going to Earth Power here. So we're going to get this Cotton Guard up. And I'm cool with that. So we get our Cotton Guard up. That's going to give us +3 defenses, allowing us to take hits from the Skuntank and the Scizor now. A lot better than we otherwise would be able to. And I can either Fire Blast or Roost here. I think Roost is the safest play. He's getting a lot of health back here with these Leech Seeds and stuff, but I have to Roost and kind of keep wearing him down a little bit because he's getting a lot of health back. That burn is very nice, though, as it's keeping him in the range that I know I can knock him out. So I'm going to go for the Roost this turn, just to be safe. He's going to Seed Flare, actually trying to get the drops here. 50% chance, I believe, but it's not going to do much to us. We do resist. He does not get any drops on us, so I'm freely able to Roost here. So there's the Seed Flare. And I think what I'm going to do now is I can choose to either Fire Blast or Roost, one of the two. Fire Blast would knock out the Shaymin and finally just get rid of it. But I'm trying to get myself as high of health as I can to take on the next Pokemon after Shaymin, because he's getting really close to being able to live a Fire Blast now. So I want to be careful. I think I'm going to go for one more Roost, and then I'm going to fire off the Fire Blast. I just want to be at as high of health as I can. He is going to go for the Earth Power. That's fine with me. You know, we're going to be able to take that no problem. It's going to get us down to about 58 health. This is going to get us back up to a good amount of health. We're going to be just above 100, I believe, when all is said and done here after the Earth Power and the Leech Seed. And then I'm going to Fire Blast. We'll be at about 100 health, 100 HP. And the Fire Blast should knock him out of this range. And I'm starting to realize that our best play here is simply just to go for that Fire Blast now. We're going to be sitting at just under 100 health. I mean, yeah, he's at a little bit more health than I would like him to be for me to risk this anymore. So I'm just going to try to get rid of this Shaymin. We're going to go for the Fire Blast now. I could also Cotton Guard again and just go all the way up. I'm not sure if that's our best play, but I'm going to Fire Blast, try to get rid of this Shaymin now. And that'll also remove that Leech Seed damage too. He is going to Earth Power again. We should be able to take this no problem. It's probably going to bring us down to about 90. He gets the special defense drop this time. Our Fire Blast does come off. We do connect. This should be enough to knock him out, if not right away with the burn at least. And it does knock him out. So Altaria is going to pick up the second kill. Kills Shaymin with Fire Blast. So here we are sitting at +3 defense with our Altaria, allowing us to take really any hit from his offensive threats. If he has Sludge Wave on his Landorus, that's scary. If he has Dazzling Gleam on his Alakazam, he will most certainly go for that now. That would be his play, is the Dazzling Gleam. You don't want to sit here with the threats. He is going to go into Mr. Man, which is his Landorus. If he goes for the Sludge Wave, let's see here. Does Landorus actually kill us right now if he's just a straight up Earth Power set or Sludge Wave? Oh, he did get the special defense drop on us, actually. So you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to make the play in a Chansey. I think this thing does have some... Does it have any viability left? No, you know what? I'm going to stay in. It's not worth saving this thing anymore, because I'm not going to be able to take a Dazzling Gleam from the Alakazam. I don't want to give this thing a chance to set up. I'm just going to go for the Hyper Voice. I'll let him knock us out. He is going to go for the knockoff. That is beautiful for us. He predicts to switch into our Chansey. We live that without a problem because of our Cotton Guard. He is Life Orb, so we see that. So great knowledge for us. He is not Scarf Landorus, so we get so much intel there. And our Hyper Voice is going to come off here and hit him incredibly hard and knock him to a very low amount of health. So he thought we were going to save our... Altaria, which is what I was originally thinking to do, switching into Chansey, but it was a little too risky. So now we know he has knockoff. I'm going to go for Hyper Voice and let him knock us out. He is going to go for the Earth Power, which is what I was expecting. That is, of course, boosted. And that's fine with us. So he's going to be able to knock us out here. Now I have an easy opportunity to go into our Galvantula and fire off an HP Ice, which I think is probably our best play. It will preserve our Focus Sash, of course. Got a couple different options there. He may predict the HP Ice, but I really don't feel like I'm losing anything by going for it. Bug Buzz is a little too risky. I think the HP Ice is the safest play. I'm sure he's going to predict that and switch, but simultaneously, I think this is our safest play. I can always preserve Aragog later, and if he does go into Skuntank, I can fire off a Thunder and knock that thing out. So he's going to switch here. Not a big deal. He's going to see my HP Ice. He's going to go into Giraffe here, which is his Scizor. Not too surprising there. I'm going to go for the HP Ice and knock this thing down. Hit him decently hard, not too much damage. Let me just see how much, based on that damage there, how much is my Thunder going to do against this thing? I will outspeed. Do I want to break my Sash against this thing? That is the question. That did about 10% with my HP Ice, so he is definitely some HP investment. Thunder is not going to knock him out by any means. I think Voltergeist is a great play here, or I could just go for the Thunder and try to hit him pretty hard, because I know Bullet Punch is not going to do a lot to us. I think I just Thunder here. Thunder's a 2-hit KO. I'm going to go for the Thunder. We also have a 30% chance to paralyze him with this Thunder too, which is very nice to think about. That's going to do a tremendous amount of damage. It's not a crit. He is just not very invested, but he's going to go for the U-turn here. That is going to knock us down to our Focus Sash, so we see just how much damage that does. That was a tremendous amount of damage. And that's going to get us down to about... yeah, I mean, that looked like it was offensive. That's Choice Banded damage, man. That was Banded damage. That was Choice Banded, I think. Yeah, that definitely was Banded. Okay, so here comes this guy, Mustachio. Now, Chansey should be able to take on Mustachio all day. So that's my play. I'm going into Chansey here. That's very predictable, but I'm going to do it. And his Scizor's very weak. I think his Scizor might be Banded at this point. We have to be very careful about that. But he's also very weak, so we're actually getting close to where we can click Outrage, too. So let's go into Chansey here. And he could also have, Knockoff on his Alakazam, but we'll see what this thing's going to do. He could also have Calm Mind and try to set up on us. I have Sucker Punch on our Galvantula, which is nice, and I outspeed with Flygon. So we have a couple different options here. He's going to Trace our Natural Cure, not a big deal. And we'll see what he's going to do. Psyshock us, probably. He's going to Knock Off, so he does show the Knockoff. I expected that. I definitely expected him to have Knockoff on this thing, and I'm not surprised to see exactly that. Okay, my play here is 1,000,000% Seismic Toss. I don't care if he Psyshocks us. Chansey has done its job. It has done his job. I'm happy with Chansey right now. And he's going to go for the Psyshock here. I should be able to live this, no problem. And we do live it, and we're going to get some Seismic Toss damage off on him. Very nice. It's going to do over 30% to him, which it exactly does. And he will be able to knock us out with a Psyshock here, but that's okay. That is totally okay. I'm going to go for a Seismic Toss. He's going to Psyshock and knock us out. So, Landorus killed Altaria with Earth Power. And Alakazam kills Chansey with Psyshock. Now I 1,000,000% go into Flygon and click U-turn. I'd imagine that'll be plenty to kill, but I'm just going to double check. Flygon versus Mega Alakazam. Let me just make sure that that does kill. It does at this range. So we're going to go into our Flygon here and click U-turn. If he decides to switch out, that'll give us the momentum we need. If he decides to stay in, that's totally fine. And we're just going to click U-turn here. And pretty soon, we're actually able to click Outrage. We are getting very close to the point where Flygon's able to click Outrage and clean up here. So the big thing is, are we going to be able to live? How many? Like, can we live the Bullet Punch from the Scizor? You know, can Flygon take that? You know, Scizor, like regular Scizor, Bullet Punch, Choice Band-Aid. How much is that going to do? It's going to do about 70%. You know, he's got that Sucker Punch presumably on the Skuntank. So he's got some priority that could really hinder Flygon's effectiveness here. But ultimately, Flygon should be able to pick up some kills. Should be able to outrage the Landorus. Should be able to outrage the Skuntank. Earthquake the Skuntank, whichever we prefer. It should be able to pick up the kills, because that Scizor was pretty low. That Scizor was pretty low. And Outrage does about 30% to the Scizor. It was low. I'm pretty sure it was low enough after that Thunder that we can knock it out. I don't fully remember, though, to be perfectly honest. But I do believe Flygon, or that Scizor was low enough that an Outrage should be able to knock him out if he was offensive. Even with max HP, I believe. He's going to switch out here, so we're going to get the initiative. Very nice. He goes into Drumpf, which is the Skuntank. We're going to get the U-turn off. That's fine. And what I'm going to do now is I simply just go into Rotom here and click Hydro Pump, I believe. I believe that's our safest play. I really don't lose anything by doing that. Aragog outspeeds his entire team, obviously. I can't go into V-Drive, so I'm going to go into our Voltergeist here. We should be able to just simply click Hydro Pump and knock this thing out. I can't risk going for anything else. I have to go for Hydro Pump. He's got the Black Sledge. I have to go for Hydro Pump here. We have to knock him out with this. We have to. We got to get rid of something here with this Hydro Pump. Even if the Alakazam comes in, that's fine. I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump. If he switches in the Alakazam, that's fine at this point. I could sack off Victini, I think. I think that's what I would do, is sack off Victini, because Victini is not going to be able to live a hit from the Scizor, I don't think, anymore. And honestly, actually, it might even knock out the Alakazam if that comes in anyway. So, I need to hit this Hydro Pump, baby. We got to get a kill. If this Hydro Pump hits, we get a kill. So, let's do it. Come on, Voltergeist. You got this, buddy. You got this, buddy. My little Rotom, let's go, baby. I'm pretty sure we can live a Poison Jab and a Sucker Punch here, based on the damage from last time. I'm 100%. Let's do this, Voltergeist. You got this, little guy. Hit this Hydro Pump. We might even outspeed his Skuntank if he didn't EV it. He might not have. He might not have invested. Here comes Hydro Pump, fires off. We do connect. This should be enough to knock out the Skuntank unless he's super bulky. And it does knock him out. That is a huge, huge kill there for us. Rotom Wash kills Skuntank with Hydro Pump. Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. And we're sitting at 72 HP. Okay. This thing might have some viability still. This thing might have some viability. If he goes into that Alakazam here, I think I'm going to sack off Victini. Give me an opportunity to go into my Flygon for free and click U-turn. And scare something else out. And we're really close to being able to click, we're really, really close to being able to click Outrage. I just want to make sure that Outrage is going to be enough to knock out the Scizor. But now that Skuntank is gone, that is one less hit of priority that we have to worry about with Flygon. Flygon is in range now, where I believe if I'm able to just simply click Outrage, we should be able to win. Unfortunately, I do not remember exactly how much health that Scizor was at, which is very scary, but here comes his Landorus. My play here is, no matter what, it is to go for the Hydro Pump. If he attacks us, that's fine. My play is the Hydro Pump here. He's going to go for the Sludge Wave. I am fully physically bulky, so I don't think we're going to live this, but there's a chance. We do not live, so that's fine. We're going to go down here. So Landorus kills Rotom Wash with Sludge Wave. So he did have the Sludge Wave this entire time. That's fine. My play here is I can actually go into Aragog and click HP Ice and knock him out, or I could just go into Jet here and click Outrage. The Outrage is probably the proper play. I do have Sucker Punch on Aragog as well to hit the Scizor if I need to. So I'm going to go into our Jet here, which is our Flygon. And we should outspeed this thing no matter what. And we should be able to click Outrage here and knock some stuff out. So that is what my play is. I'm going to click Outrage. And it should be enough to knock out this Landorus and also anything that comes in. Scizor, I believe, is going to be at low enough health that we can knock him out. And the other thing too is that that Alakazam is pretty low too, so we do have the opportunity for this Sucker Punch. This is my only play. I mean, I could have went into Galvantula and HP Iced, and maybe that was the better play. Because if he were to, the only problem we have is if Scizor comes in and lives the Outrage. That's the biggest problem we have. But we're at him in Max Attack, and if he has, unless he's like bulky, and based on that damage before, like I really feel like he was pretty offensive. We're gonna get this Outrage off here, so this is gonna knock him out. He was pretty offensive, man, that Scizor before. But Flygon kills Landorus with Outrage, so that's good. Here comes Giraffe. How much health was he at? He's low enough. Outrage should knock him out here. Outrage should definitely knock him out here. So I don't even get to pick a move. We should be able to live a Bullet Punch, though. We do have a little bit of HP investment, and even Max Attack, Choice Banded, Bullet Punch, we should live. I believe. I mean, it's not like I can change anything. Here comes the Bullet Punch. Even if he's adamant Max Attack, we should live. And we do. With 39 HP, baby. Flygon picking up the second kill. So Flygon kills Scizor with Outrage. Now, are we going to get Confusion or not? That is the question. We are not. We get a 3-turn Outrage. This should be able to knock out the Alakazam. If not, I do have a backup plan. I do have Sucker Punch on Galvantula if I need it. But this should be the game. I don't have to click a move. We are locked in Outrage. We get a 3-turn Outrage, and this should seal the deal. We are faster than the Alakazam. The Outrage comes off, and Flygon is going to kill Alakazam with Outrage, and Flygon cleans up the match, picking up 3 kills here at the end. And the New York Metapods are going to pick up our first win of the season. and we are right back in things, guys. After a very rough start going 0-2, picking up this win was absolutely huge for us, guys. This was a must-win game. We stepped it up. We did get a little bit of luck there. There was a tiny bit of luck there with that burn on the Druddigon, which may or may not have mattered. We got a crit as well, which is pretty nice. But minimalistic hacks, I mean, it was crucial, so, you know. But either way, that's how Pokemon works. So, you know, big props to my man Lars, guys. He is always a tremendous battler. I highly encourage you guys to check out his channel. This is not the last time we're going to play him this season. We play him again in a couple weeks, so that's going to be really awesome. I always enjoy our matches against him. And seriously, please show him some love. Get some hype for your New York Metapods. Mr. Metapod is dancing right here. He is happy as ever because we just won our first match, and we are making our run now. So let's make it happen, guys. Let's do it. We're going back to 500 next week. Let's do it, man. I'm feeling good, feeling fine. Flygon putting in the work with that choice scarf. That's what I like to see. So Lily's hyped about our first win, as always. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with the Metapods, guys. Regardless of whether we win the whole season or we get absolutely destroyed, just know I'm going to put in the most effort I can every week and really put a good effort in to try to win every week. So thank you guys so much for the love, and I'm going to catch you guys next time. My name is Dan. I'm the coach of your New York Metapods, and I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.